Nas was one of the chilliest rappers of all time. He was calm, collected, and laid back. He didn't like to involve himself in unnecessary drama and tried to focus on his music. But as we all know, it's nearly impossible to stay out of trouble when you're in the rap game. So, like most of his peers, Nas also engaged in some serious conflicts. While his fight with Jay-Z was the most popular, Nas also clashed with a lot of people that many fans didn't know about. Some of these beefs were so ugly and personal, leading to brutal diss songs that rocked the hip-hop world. From producers who wanted to control his sound to fellow rappers competing with him for the New York throne, here's our list of artists Nas hated and the reasons behind their feuds. Number 1, Jay-Z. Who doesn't know about the Nas and Jay-Z beef? The two East Coast kings had one of the most brutal rap battles ever back in the day. Spoiler alert, it was over something really petty. Here's what really happened. In 1996, Jay was working on the song Can I Live and wanted Nas to jump on it. They had both agreed to meet at the studio to record, but Nas didn't show up. Left Jay hanging. Producer Irv Gotti was sitting there waiting, and he tells the whole story. We was waiting for Nas to do the second verse. He didn't show up. That's what started it. Jay was angry. Then he did something that really pissed Nas off. He took some of Nas's vocals and put them on his album without even asking him. When somebody asked Nas about it later, he said, "I'm sure I was in the studio." Press his voice, right? Yes, okay. I didn't even place you. For years, the two rappers kept taking shots at each other, little jabs here and there. But in 2001, Jay said, "Fuck it," and dropped Takeover. In the song, he directly attacked Nas, claiming that Nas was lying about his whole life and that his career was trash. He also said Nas wasn't getting paid right and suggested he was making up all his street stories. Nas heard it and lost his mind. He fired back with Ether, one of the hardest hitting diss tracks of all time. In fact, that song was so brutal that people still say someone got ethered when they get destroyed in a rap contest. Nas called Jay fake and said he wasn't really from the streets. But Jay didn't let it slide. He released Super Ugly, where he crossed the line, claiming he had slept with the mother of Nas's daughter. That was too much. The tension was at a boiling point. Even Jay's own mom had to call him on the radio and ask him to stop and apologize. Both rappers have settled their beef and are cool. Nas even joked about the whole situation when asked about it in an interview. "Sometimes I text Hova like, 'Nah, this ain't over,'" he said, laughing. Number 2, Kanye West. Nas also had a clash with Kanye West, but this time the beef was not because someone was talking trash or spreading rumors about the other. It was due to differences in how they believed music should be made. Initially, Nas and Kanye were working together. Kanye made beats for Nas on his 2012 album Life is Good, and then again in 2018 on Nasir. It was during their collaboration that they both realized they had totally different ideas about music. Kanye always wants to try new, weird stuff. He pushes artists to sound more radio-friendly, but Nas preferred to stick with the same old style. Deep lyrics, classic hip-hop beats. That was his thing. Kanye got frustrated with Nas. You could hear it in his voice when he talked about one song called "Cops Shot the Kid." Cops shot the kid, Nas rapping all off, beat on it. "Don't even want to shoot a video. Just shoot the video. Don't even tell me," he said. It wasn't just about this one song. It was about how these two guys see music. Kanye wants to make hits that play on the radio and get millions of streams. He's all about pushing boundaries and trying crazy new sounds. But Nas, he's old school. He cares more about real hip-hop. He prefers meaningful lyrics, classic beats. Nas doesn't want to change his style just to sell more records. Their relationship got worse when Kanye started doing all that controversial stuff, like supporting Donald Trump, going on Twitter rants, and saying wild things in interviews, Although neither of them made a diss track about each other, you could tell there's tension between the two. Number 3, Jim Jones. Another artist on the Nas hate list is Jim Jones. The beef started when some fans would compare Jim Jones to Nas. That's actually crazy because Nas is considered one of the greatest rappers ever, while Jim Jones is, well, Jim Jones. He's nowhere near Nas's level. Nas paid no attention to these comparisons, but Jim Jones took them way too seriously. Over time, Jim started saying he was more influential than Nas. Then he went on the Joe Budden podcast, where he claimed he had better numbers than Nas. The statistics of what I've done, you heard about what other people have done. You heard, and if you want to go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas Billboard entries, then pull up my Billboard entries, Jim said. Hip-hop fans were shocked when they heard this. The whole rap community was like, are you serious right now? People started debating about it online. Sports commentator Shannon Sharp wasn't having it and went off on him on the Nightcap podcast. What were you smoking when you said you're better than Nas? Sharp reminded everyone that Nas has influenced entire generations of rappers, while Jim Jones is still trying to get respect from mainstream hip-hop. Then an old 2005 video of Nas talking about Jim Jones surfaced online. In it, Nas completely roasted him without even trying. Imagine putting pen to paper to write about him. The people with Nas burst out laughing. He then added, I can't, like if it was like Jim Jones. Imagine putting a pen to paper and writing about him. When asked to name which rappers actually made other rappers nervous, Nas said, the guys that used to have a guy a little nervous was like B.I.G., Pac, even Cannabis, like Eminem. Them guys used to have. Notice Jim Jones wasn't on that list. When Jim realized how badly it had turned out for him, he tried to save face on Instagram. He said the whole thing was just a marketing trick to get more streams. Number 4, Biggie. Although Nas and Biggie never had a public fight, they did not really like each other, and it's because of the competition between them. Back in the 90s, Nas and Biggie were two of the biggest rappers from New York. While Nas was the first to establish himself in the game, Biggie blew up really fast, and soon both started competing to be the king of the city. This created some bad blood between them. The tension grew when the two artists began to copy each other, with both using similar covers on their albums. It's over the album cover, right, Biggie? Cause you, I had the picture of Young Me on the cover, and then Notorious B.I.G., rest in peace, had a picture of a baby that was going to be, Nas said in an interview. The two rappers didn't specifically make diss tracks about each other, but there were some little jabs here and there in their songs. When Nas dropped the song The Message, many believed the line "Lex with TV sets the minimum" was a dig at Biggie, who liked to rap about his opulent lifestyle in his songs. Biggie also threw a jab of his own in Kicking the Door, where he rapped, "Your reign on top was short like leprechauns," a subtle attack on Nas. But their beef did go beyond that. When asked about the issue after Biggie's death, Nas said he had respect for Biggie and that the whole thing was just healthy competition. Number 5, Tupac. Nas had a serious beef with Tupac, and it all started due to a misunderstanding. While listening to Nas's track, The Message, Tupac heard a line that pissed him off big time. "Fake thug, no love, you get the slug." Pac thought Nas was talking about him, calling him fake. For someone who was all about being real and authentic, he felt Nas was attacking everything he stood for. So, Tupac dropped Against All Odds, where he brutally went after Nas. He called Nas a wannabe who was copying his style and living in some fantasy world. Pac rapped, "This little nigga named Nas thinks he lives like me. Talking about he left the hospital, took 5 like me. You live in fantasies, nigga. I reject your deposit." But the truth is, Nas wasn't even talking about Tupac in that song, so the whole beef started over nothing. The two rappers later met up in Central Park. They sat down and talked it out like grown men. That's when they realized how stupid the whole thing was. Both of them were from New York and had no reason to be fighting each other. So what happened was, we went to him, and the brother was like, "Nah, I'm from New York, man. You know we like this. Don't ever let nothing come between us," said Nas when he was asked what happened when he met with Pac. The beef ended after that conversation. Both of them were even planning to work on music together. Can you imagine how crazy that would have been? Two of the best rappers ever on the same track, but it didn't happen before Tupac was killed in September 1996. So we never got to see what they could have done together, all because of a beef that never should have happened in the first place. Number 6, Cam'ron. Unlike other beefs on this list, Nas actually caused the bad blood between him and Cam'ron. It started when Nas mentioned Cam'ron's album Come Home With Me when he was talking about music he didn't like during a radio interview. He was basically calling Cam's work whack. Cam'ron heard about the comment and took it personally. When Nas dissed me, that shit hurt. I was like, damn, he recalled. We grew up on Nas, man. What did Nas diss us for? Damn, this is crazy. So when he dissed me for no reason, I'm like, damn, I didn't do nothing to Nas. But it was when I just signed to Rockefeller and I was like, damn, man, do we ignore Nas or do we respond to Nas? Cam said. What made it even more painful for Cam'ron is that Nas was one of his favorite artists. Feeling betrayed by someone he looked up to, Cam released a diss track called Wet Wipes, where he went after Nas big time. Then both started dissing each other in their songs, but stopped after a while. In an interview with Rap Radar in 2019, Cam'ron said he regretted his beef with Nas. He believed he had gone too far with some of the things he said. Number 7, 50 Cent. Do you remember when 50 Cent was dissing the whole hip-hop community in the mid-2000s? He was taking shots at almost every rapper, and Nas got caught in the crossfire. The beef started in 2005 when 50 Cent released Piggy Bank. In that song, 50 went after Nas, clowning him for getting a tattoo of his wife, Kellis, on his arm. Kellis said her milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Then Nas went and tattooed the B.I. on his arm, said 50. Nas was furious. He saw it as disrespect to his queen. At that time, Nas had just finished his beef with Jay-Z, and he wasn't going to let 50 Cent get away with it. So he dropped MC Burial, where he fired back at 50. But unlike Nas' fight with Jay-Z, this beef never escalated to a full rap war. Although both rappers continued to trade shots for years, neither one of them took it seriously. So, Nas and 50's fight didn't gather much attention. But in 2014, the two rappers finally buried the hatchet when they hugged each other at Summer Jam in front of a live audience. 50 acknowledged that the beef was stupid and shouldn't have happened, while Nas admitted that he regretted getting that tattoo at the time. So, what other Nas beefs are missing from this list? And what are your favorite Nas diss tracks? Let us know your answers in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more interesting beef stories.